Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anna Manuel. A new bar in Elmira is offering a different type of service. The Sober Bar, Elmira Rise, has something new on tap. Our Sonia Ellison explains.
Because Elmira does have a huge addiction trouble, a dire need for the community, I'd say, to have an alternative place to be able to go and feel safe and still be able to have fun but live sober.
The Rise Dry Bar has been open for business since October at 190 Main Street. They just had a grand opening and ribbon cutting.
It stands for Respect, Inclusion, Safety, and Equality.
The Sober Space is located at a downtown Grind coffee shop.
3 nights a week, we just shift the space around a little bit.
The Dry Bar has mocktails, coffee, tea, a menu of snacks, and much more.
Everyone who walks out of these doors we know is going to be sober and safe.
Holidays can be a time of peak stress, but sober spaces like Rise can be a relief to those in recovery.
This time of year can be a pretty slippery slope for folks in recovery. There's a number of triggers that can unfortunately cause a relapse, so we want people to know that we're here.
The community is reacting positively to Rise. One local in recovery commented on Facebook, quote, "I hope this works out in the area. Would love to see more sober-centered things like this."
If we had our own building, we would like a more bar-like atmosphere with maybe a pool table and some darts, stuff like that. So it feels like you're going to a bar without the temptation of alcohol.
In a community with a scarcity of sober places, Gutwillig's Dry Bar will help Elmira rise by lifting others in a much-needed safe space. Sonia Ellison, Big Fox News, Elmira.
Bath celebrated the season with the 2023 Spirit of Christmas that kicked off with a coat donation event, parade, and tree lighting. There were vendors, activities like carolers, ice sculptures, and a visit from Santa at the Pulteney Park gazebo. Attendees also helped by donating to a food drive. Steuben County continues its Christmas celebration as Avoca kicks off their annual Christmas in the Park with a parade tomorrow at 2 p.m. As Corning celebrates with Sparkle, Corning Glass and Rockwell Museums both have free admission all weekend. CMOG hosts a holiday open house tomorrow and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. with musical performances, guided tours, and special glass-making activities. Also, a visit from Santa, and so much more is planned. The Rockwell Museum also has a holiday open house tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. featuring the 9th annual Gingerbread Invitational. Pennsylvania fishing licenses, permits, and gift vouchers are now available for purchase. You can purchase from a computer or smartphone until December 31st of next year. Licenses are valid for 13 months from their time of purchase. It's advised licenses be printed or saved on a digital wallet before the start of spring trout season. Children under 16 do not need a permit. For more information, go to the website on your screen. Turning now to Capitol Hill, and the House overwhelmingly voting to boost George Santos, with 311 lawmakers voting to oust the New York Republican from office, far surpassing the 2/3 required threshold. Madeline Rivera has more on today's vote.
In light of the expulsion of the gentleman from New York, Mr. Santos, the whole number of the House is now 434.
Congressman George Santos' time in Congress is over after House lawmakers voted to oust him. It required a 2/3 majority in the House. Santos was defiant before the historic vote, saying expelling him without a conviction will hurt Congress.
It sets dangerous new precedent for the future to come. It's the demise of this body eventually.
Republicans were divided about whether to remove Santos. 2 previous efforts to push him out of the House failed. But momentum grew after a damning House Ethics Committee report found, quote, substantial evidence that he violated federal criminal laws, allegedly using campaign funds for personal expenses like Botox and luxury goods.
You'll vote to expel Santa?
Yes, I will.
Republican House leadership, including Speaker Mike Johnson and Majority Leader Steve Scalise, voted against expelling Santos, which other GOP members also say now sets a dangerous precedent. It also threatens the Republicans' narrow majority.
He's not been convicted of anything. We haven't done that before.
Democrats argued the opposite, saying keeping Santos is what would have hurt the reputation of the House.
George Santos violated not only the rules of the House, but every moral standard that this House has ever had, and that the integrity and the reputation of this House are being denigrated every single day that George Santos is here.
Santos is the first House lawmaker to be expelled in more than 20 years. New York Governor Kathy Hochul now has to call a special election within 10 days. In Washington, Mallory Rivera, Fox News.
An elderly man in Pennsylvania is accused of beating his wife to death during an argument about their cat. 84-year-old Barton Seltman called 911 saying someone had ransacked his home in Montgomery County and beat his wife. Authorities found 85-year-old Margaret Seltman on the kitchen floor, dead with blunt force injuries to her head. Seltman told police that he and his wife were fighting over the veterinary care of their cat. Seltman also said his wife grabbed a knife and threatened to kill him, and that he pushed a chair into his wife, causing her to fall to the floor, where Barton repeatedly punched her and hit her with a candle holder. Seltman is charged with first and third-degree murder. He's being held without bail. Justice Sandra Day O'Connor has died. She was 93 years old. The late Ruth Bader Ginsburg recalled the simple but inspiring advice she received from her colleague when joining the Supreme Court as the second female justice. "Just do it," said the first woman on that court. In law and in life, Sandra Day O'Connor did it, and did it in pioneering fashion. Shannon Bream has more on O'Connor's life.
Sandra Day O'Connor was a pioneer from birth.
We were 35 miles from the nearest town. We only went to town once a week.
Born in El Paso, Texas on March 26, 1930, she grew up on her family's cattle ranch in southeastern Arizona.
I loved living on that ranch, and I sort of grew up on the back of a horse.
In 1975, she was elected to the Maricopa County Superior Court, and in 1979 was elevated to the Arizona State Court of Appeals. Then, in 1981, President Reagan asked to meet with O'Connor about an opening on the U.S. Supreme Court. The Senate unanimously confirmed O'Connor's nomination that fall, making her the first female Supreme Court justice.
It took 191 years for that to happen.
O'Connor favored the concept of limited federal government. She was also the pivotal fifth vote needed to decide a case. Notably, in 1992 in Planned Parenthood v. Casey, which among other things struck down a Pennsylvania law requiring spousal notification for an abortion. In Bush v. Gore, where O'Connor joined the 5-4 majority in upholding the Florida Secretary of State's original certification of Florida's electoral votes and suspended the recount in the presidential election there. And O'Connor was again the decisive vote in 2003's Grutter v. Bollinger, which upheld the constitutionality of a University of Michigan affirmative action program. In her later years, she worked to educate children about the law, writing a children's book and creating a program to teach middle schoolers about civics.
For a democracy such as ours to function, we have to have citizens that understand the process.
That love for democracy and her country endured throughout her life.
Stay with us. Your complete weekend forecast is next.
Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Good evening, happy Friday, and happy December. We're working our way into our winter months, but it's not going to feel like winter this weekend. Now, looking at the last 5 days, though, we had some temperatures that were winter-like into those lower 30s, but outside of that, the 40s have been well in place even today under rain showers. We were keeping those temperatures steady into those 40s here tonight, holding on to 40s as that southerly wind continues to push in, and that is going to bring us a very warm weekend. We're even expecting high temperatures into the 50s, so unseasonably warm. Now, unfortunately, it's not going to be a sunny and warm weekend. What we're seeing is it's the warm southerly winds that are going to push those temperatures up and then also bring in moisture that's going to allow for maybe a few sprinkles tomorrow, and then seeing that rain showers will be more dominant Sunday as we roll throughout the day. Staying light, so still running errands, getting outdoors possible. Just want to make sure maybe to have some of that rain gear and umbrella on hand. Now that system is going to depart as we head into Monday, and then into next week we will see some gradual cooling, not Arctic air to follow it, but to push those temperatures back towards more normal conditions for this time of the year. So as we roll into our Saturday, there is some signal here within that satellite. That's some clearing skies around with how moist it is. If there is some clearing, fog conditions is definitely going to be a possibility, especially for our area, but also can't rule out just some little sprinkles here and there. Still even some areas of some sunshine may be possible, but trending for more cloud cover and fog cover. Then as we head into Sunday, we'll have some of those showers move their way across the area, and we'll keep with those showers throughout the daytime. As we look at accumulation here, we do see that amounts on the board range anywhere from about 1/4 of an inch to about 1/2 inch in some isolated areas. This does include some of the rain showers that we are seeing today. So really what we'll see is that our totals from today through Sunday get to that 1/2 inch marker. So not dealing with any flooding concerns here with both systems, but going to stay with an atmosphere that's going to continue to bring some of these rich moisture values, leading to some foggy conditions at times, especially with how warm our temperatures are going to be. 57 degrees. We are getting 15 degrees above normal at that threshold. Bath even seeing 55 degrees. Wellsboro there 53 degrees. Sunday, fairly similar conditions. A few degrees knocked back due to better rain chances in place, but still well above normal by at least 10 degrees there from those 40s to those lower 50s. Sunday's also going to be a bit breezy as that system passes on by. We can see those winds switch with that system Sunday into Monday, gusts up to about 25 miles per hour. And then we can see more of that northerly and westerly wind is what's going to slowly knock those temperatures back. Again, not frigid air, at least bringing us back to those 40s early week. A late chance for some rain showers again Tuesday, expected to be light, but that system will continue to pull those temperatures even down into those 30s for a few days.